Welcome to Brown Girls Can, the podcast where black and brown brilliance meets real talk. This podcast is your safe space to be seen, heard, and of course, celebrated. I'm your host, Shateria, the founder and visionary behind the Brown Girls Can brand and movement. Every podcast episode, we're gonna laugh loud and dive deep into the stories, careers, and bold dreams of women who are redefining what's possible. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome back to another episode of Brown Girls Can, the podcast. Y'all already know I'm your host, Shateria, and I'm joined by the CEO herself.
Hello.
Miss Jordan Gustus. Clap it up, clap it up. Yay, thank you for joining me.
I'm so excited to be here.
I can't wait to get into all the things. Branding.
Yes.
Marketing.
Yes.
What's the difference? Because some of y'all don't know.
Listen.
But y'all know, before we get into the episode, we always toast to a good episode. Today we have strawberry mimosa. So we're going to toast it up. Cheers. That's good. So how you been?
I'm doing well. Working hard per usual. You know, all the things.
We love it. Working hard. Oh my gosh. So tell the people who you are, what you do, and we'll go from there.
Okay, my name is Jordan. On the internet, I'm the Jordan Ariel. That's the name of my business, the Jordan Ariel Agency. I design for coaches, creatives, and consultants and help them to stand out in their market and to look like the experts that they really are through digital and in-person design. So I design a lot of logos, websites, events like conferences, retreats, and different things like that for a bunch of different CEOs.
CEOs hire her. So that is why she is the one to pay. So you want to invest.
Listen.
So how did you get into this field? Like, was it a childhood thing? You like art?
So yes and no. I like to tell people it was a beautiful accident. I was into art growing up, so I did a lot of drawing.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought that I wanted to go into fashion. So at first I didn't know if I wanted to like design clothes or how I wanted that to go. Of course, when you get older and you learn more about like career paths and stuff like that, what I ended up settling on was going into the magazine industry, so the beauty industry for magazines. However, as you know, the magazine industry has kind of disappeared. Everything
stuff,
everything is turned digital. So while I was in college, that was what was actually happening. So I majored in visual communication. So it gave journalism and graphic design. So it kind of gave both sides of the coin to go into the magazine industry. But actually my sophomore year, I started getting a little worried. I was like, is art gonna pay the bills? I don't know. So I actually went to my advisor and I changed my major to be an anesthesiologist.
Girl.
I was gonna do bio. And I was like, I can just be a doctor. Cause
you was gonna do that for real?
Yes. And you know how people be like, you so smart, you need to be a doctor or a lawyer. And so I was like, if I had to be a doctor, it would be an anesthesiologist. And girl, I went to that class and the man was like, basically, if you make over a 50 in my class, like, good luck. Most of the people that come in here get below a 50. They get a failing grade, blah, blah, blah. He went on this whole spiel, first day of class. Oh, baby, dropped. I dropped them classes so fast. I had always made good grades. I was always an A student. I was the person that cried when they got a B. So I was like, oh, fail. You ain't got to tell me twice. See you later.
Jordan, you wasn't going to try?
No. Then my aunt actually had a good friend that was an anesthesiologist, and she connected us, and the lady was telling me about how, you're in school for 10 to 12 years or so, depending on what programs paths you take.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, she was like, I have money to do everything that I want to do, but I don't have time to do everything that I want to do. And so she was telling me about that. And I was like, oh, that don't sound like the life that I want to live. She was like, my kids live good. They are in all the activities. She was like, but their nanny takes them or their dad takes them or whatever. Yeah. So I was like, oh no, thank you. So I went back, and that's kind of that's kind of how it started. It started with me doing a logo for somebody. Actually, one of my friends in college, she was starting a photography business. I did a logo for her, and then people just kept asking me, and I kind of went from there.
See, that's okay. When people see a gift in you, okay, foster it. That's good.
Yeah, and I had done some stuff previously, but like I don't think in my brain I classified it as graphic design. Of course, I was one of those people that was like making MySpace backgrounds, and customizing my own things. Like I was doing whole HTML coding. My parents really should have had me in some kind of class.
Yes.
But I was coding. I was creating invitations and stuff and business cards on PowerPoint and Microsoft Word. Like I was really doing some different things when I was younger. Ooh. But it kind of came back around full circle in college.
That's good. Okay, so we on the journey. So you changed it to anesthesiology. Mm-hmm. Is that how you say it?
Anesthesiology. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then what? Okay, so you said that ain't for you. Mm-mm. And so then
I went back to visual communication. Yeah, so I went back to the same advisor, tears in my eyes, like, girl, they said I was gonna fail, and that's okay. You ain't gotta tell me twice. Bye.
You know.
And so I changed back, and then that summer, after that, which was the summer going into my junior year, or was that the summer going into my senior year? I can't remember, but the summer after this, it was the summer going into my junior year because I put a couple things on Facebook during the summer just trying to make a couple extra dollars. And I actually had lost my job. I was working at a factory, and I lost my job. And so I was like, oh, I need to make some money. Mm-hmm. So I started offering those services. People were paying me. I was doing all types of stuff, logos, websites, flyers, and I was having fun. And so I was enjoying it. People kept asking, and look, I've been here ever since.
That's what's up. So tell the people what the difference between branding and marketing is.
Okay, so I would say that branding is a mix between visuals and messaging, right? So your branding is how you appear, and how you speak about your brand, or how your brand comes off as people read or encounter it. So it's really about perception, right? Mm-hmm. How do people encounter your brand? How does it make them feel? What does it make them think? What associations are they able to make? So forth and so on. And then marketing is more dialed in, and it is a concentrated like effort or promotion to promote a business or a product or a specific thing. So it can be a campaign. Your marketing can be your campaign. It can be your email promotions or different types of flyers and things like that you do. But a lot of times people are like, oh, her marketing is on point, even though it's just a logo or whatever. And it's like, that's not really marketing, just because her branding is good and it's well recognized, which means when I see it, I know that when I see brown, I think of you. When people see colorful things, they think of me, things like that. Mm-hmm. That's a part of my branding, but that's not marketing per se. It's just a part of my branding and how I want to be perceived or recognized.
And so how do you get that across to your clients? First of all, okay, she said it earlier that she has a clientele of CEOs. Tell the people, okay, Jordan making money, like 6 figures?
6 figures, definitely. I started out charging $50 and $100, but as I realized, one, the hard work and creative output that the work takes, but also two, the great return and payoff that branding has for businesses, I raised my prices. And so I do, usually it's a low to high 4-figure price range for my services, just depending on what it is. Mm-hmm. But it reflects in the time and effort that I put in, but also the strategy, right? Because anybody can do a pretty design, but like it needs to make sense for your audience, for your desires, and how you want to be perceived. Because Walmart and Target's branding and overall efforts are different, and that's based on how they want customers to perceive them and how they want to be seen in their markets.
Yes. So, walk us through what go through your mind like when you designing stuff.
Yeah, so for me, I joke all the time and say that I have a little bit of ADHD. So
Sorry, Jordan. Tell people how old you are.
I am 29.
She ain't even 30. 6 figures, y'all. Brown girls can make bank, okay? Use your
Absolutely
gift
can.
and make bank, okay? So if you're watching this and you have not reached 30, maybe you're like, what am I supposed to be doing with my life? I don't know what you are going through right now watching this, but brown girls can. Whatever you want to do, you can. Okay, back
and
to
brown girls can get paid their worth too.
Whoop, say it.
But so how do I think about branding in the process? So it's a couple of different things. Like I said, I joke around and say that I have a little bit of ADHD because first, when I think of things, my brain kind of goes in a bunch of different directions. So my brain works a lot in associations. So I'm pinpointing a couple of major things. So whether that be a color, whether that be an object, whether that be a main messaging point for the brand, I'm kind of pulling off of those things. So I use one of my clients, Roll Forever Ice Cream out of Nashville, as an example. So when I'm first thinking of that, one, I know that it's a woman-owned business and they want it to be softer, more fun, feminine. Also, too, I know, of course, that I'm thinking about rolled forever. So I'm thinking of, it's a rolled ice cream. So I'm thinking about rolls or spirals and things of that nature.
Shape.
So shapes and things of that nature. I'm also thinking about traditional things that people think about when they think of ice cream. And so for their brand, they wanted to go, originally they started with like a pink and a blue and a yellow. We added in like some browns and things of that nature. When I'm thinking about colors, I want to make sure that the colors are going to contrast enough so that they're legible when they're used together. I want to make sure that it makes sense for whatever story that you're trying to tell. So if you want something soft, a deep purple doesn't make sense for you.
Right.
Or if you want something soft, a bright red isn't going to make sense for you. So thinking about the things that make sense for the story that they're creating. And then also too, asking them how they want people to feel when they come into their place of business or their food truck or whatever the case may be. And sometimes with that, I'm thinking further than where they are, right? So when they first started, they didn't have a brick and mortar. They just had a bus, a roll bus. So they were doing it like a food truck style with the ice cream, but they eventually had a brick and mortar. And then now they have a setup in Nashville's farmers market where they do classes and things of that nature. So I'm kind of thinking two steps ahead to make sure that the branding not only works for now, but that it can grow with them. Since it is an investment, you don't want it to be something that you outgrow by the year end.
So how often should people rebrand or rethink their brand?
Yeah, so I think that branding doesn't necessarily have a timetable. It's more about what is going on in your business and again, how you want to be perceived. So for instance, when I originally started my business, I was working with any kind of business, really. Basically anybody that would pay me, I designed for them, right? So I didn't care if you mopped floors. I would create you a logo. Like it did not matter.
So now you selective.
Yes, I'm a little bit more selective now. So when I originally scaled up my prices, I did my first rebrand. So that was where I got more serious about messaging, talking a little bit more about different pain points and things of that nature to speak to the people that I knew wanted to pay me that price point and could pay me that price point. But then my second rebrand came about. I was still kind of doing things a la carte or like in smaller packages. But my second rebrand came about when I stopped doing a la carte. So I didn't want to be known as the girl that would just make you a flyer or a business card. I wanted to be known as the girl that did full branding.
Yes.
So which means that we're building a full brand for you from the bottom up. So that's logo, website, and I wanted to be known as the person, or you were coming to me when you were serious about your branding and it was going to be a continuous thing, or something where you wanted to do a full overhaul. So that means that you're not just going to get a logo and go, or you're not going to try to get a new website with an old logo. You understand that branding and all the things up under it works together, and it has to be consistent and cohesive. So it's really when there's something else that you want to be known for, or if your brand experiences exponential growth, or it can be goal oriented. So like if you have a product based business, if you're going from just selling online to brick and mortar, or maybe you have a beauty product that you want to go on the shelves in Sephora or Ulta, you know that packaging has different standards and different things that it needs to do in order to stand out and really make its mark.
Yo, get into all the tea. If you have a business, please lock in with Jordan. She is amazing. I still have to get with her. I'm planning some things for 2026. And so definitely I'm going to be investing in the packaging and the rebrand of this particular lane for Brown Girls Can. So I'm excited about what is coming down the pipeline. But for now, we do have books, we have merch. So go online, www.browngirlscan.org, and shop. Y'all support the brand. Help us travel the world. We've got some podcasters that are not in the city, so that takes money. So y'all support the brand. We thank y'all for listening, watching. But yes, Jordan will be part of Brown Girls Can branding team. Y'all just wait for it, okay?
Can't wait.
All right, so you talked a little bit about what your brand goes through. Tell us, like, from the customer perspective, what they can expect. Like, what is the timeline of a project?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different things that I tell people to expect. I think that one of the things that people are unprepared for a little bit is the identity shift that happens with branding or rebranding. Sometimes, especially when we start businesses one way and we're shifting to a new lane, or we're adding something new, or we're trying to elevate. Sometimes it feels like someone came in your house and rearranged all your furniture, right? And it's like, wait, I used to sit over there, but now I'm like, it can kind of throw you off a little bit. So I don't think that people sometimes are prepared or expect the mindset shift that's needed for the overall rebrand or branding of it all. I think that's one of the biggest things. The second thing I think that people should expect is to be more of an active participant. I think a lot of times people think that branding is like a fairy wand and it's like poof, it's done. But you have to be able to articulate and share your vision with the person that's going to be carrying out the vision. Be able to articulate it clearly, and also to maybe even provide examples if it's something very specific that you want. And a lot of times people get caught up or they get stuck in their head because I may be the first person that is doing websites upside down. I'm just making something up. So I'm not going to get on Pinterest and find a website upside down, but I still have to be able to articulate like, hey, this is what I want it to look like. This is kind of how I want it to flow. People are usually like, it's in my head. I don't see it. I know it when I see it. And it's like, I can't do anything with that. Because like, I'm not in your head. So I'm not going to know it when I see it. So I think that's the biggest thing, is that people don't expect, one, to be an active participant, but two, the mindset shift that is needed. I would say too, also just being open to it being something different than you may have envisioned. When you work with an expert that knows about target audience and messaging and things like that, and how those things marry together, you may have just thought about the visual piece, but they're thinking about the entire overall view. So it may be one of those things where you're like, I didn't think about that, but that
Yeah.
actually looks really good, or that makes sense the way she explained it, or whatever. And it's like, it also too, some people struggle with giving feedback, right? So even if I do provide something that's different, it's like when you go in a nail shop and they mess up your nails and you might not want to tell them or whatever. It's like, you tell them,
can y'all fix this?
please fix it, take it off now. I stopped getting my nails done because I was getting mad. Anyways, no, but seriously, it's like sometimes people get uncomfortable, but you have to realize that, like, this is your brand, you know, and this determines how you're gonna market and the confidence that you have marketing this branding and these products that you have branded or services that you have branded. So it's very important. And if you don't like it or you're uncomfortable with it, or it's like, when you go out and it's like, I like my whole outfit, but my pants are too tight or whatever. And it's like, you self-conscious the whole day. Your hair done, makeup done, but you still can't get past the point. And every time somebody talk to you, oh, yeah, thank you, I do look nice, but my pants, you got to give your disclaimer. And that's how people do with their businesses too. Sometimes you'll meet people and they're networking, and if you got to give me a disclaimer when you hand me your business card or when I ask you for your information and you like, oh, well, my website ain't updated, but, or, this my old business card, or, whatever, it's like, you know then that, like, you got to do something different.
Yeah, you got to put in work. You got to invest and put in the work. I always tell people, if you do not have the gift, you got the coin.
Got to.
So you got to either choose. So you got to either find time or preferably hire an expert. What would people be surprised to learn about Jordan?
Are surprised to learn about me?
Yes, like, girl, what? We didn't know that.
I feel like I am pretty, I don't know, I be saying that I'm boring. I'm not all that boring, but I'm pretty straightforward. I would say, maybe something from like childhood. I used to play the violin.
The violin? When did you stop?
Middle school.
Do you still know how to play if somebody gave you one?
It would be rough, but I could get through.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you ain't never want to pick it back up?
I thought about it at one point, but no. One thing that I did used to do, I had a photography business in high school and like in the beginning of college. So my granddad was actually a photographer, and I took pictures of like events and different people and like the bridges downtown, stuff like that, like nature and stuff. And that's something that I've considered like getting back into, just because it kind of falls along the lines of what I do, and like doing it only for my clients or whatever. So that is something that I consider picking back up. Music, not so much. But photography is definitely something that I've considered picking back up.
Now, you went away and you came back. Do you have plans of going back away?
Not right now.
Okay.
No. So I went to MTSU. So I was in Murfreesboro for 4 years. It was like 3.5 years. But I'm back here, and not right now. Just I don't know, thinking about where to live and all that is so overwhelming.
Tell me about
and
it.
I hate moving. So I'm one of those people, when I move, I don't know, I need to have enough money to throw everything away and start over when I get there.
I feel that because I'm planning to move, and I'm just like, baby, the way that I'm just gonna leave all this stuff here. And
you can have it. Facebook Marketplace. Everybody come in here and grab something.
Grab what you would like.
Sale.
Yes, that's going to help me fund the next new stuff that I buy. Cause
thank you.
Just thinking about it, I'm like, I have so much in this place, and I just don't even have the bandwidth to like
over it,
pack a box, to think about anything. And it's crazy how we accumulate stuff.
Yes, and it's one thing to move from place to place in the city, but like the logistics of like over a state line. Oh, no, ma'am.
That is so
funny. I'm packing some suitcases with my clothes, and I'm leaving the rest of this stuff here.
And so you have clients. Tell the people where all like the clients are.
So most of my clients are in the United States, but that's literally all over. So from coast to coast, north, south, east, and west. But I've also had clients in Nigeria, clients in Europe, and one client in the Caribbean as well.
So are they finding you, or are you like?
They're finding me for the most part. So my main marketing source, since I started my business in 2017, I believe, has been mainly Instagram and Facebook. So they're finding me. I have been a part of like some educational communities where I've like networked and kind of got connected with more women that have been spread out. So that's helped a ton. But mainly they're finding me. So a lot of times people are searching on Instagram looking for brand designers, or they're seeing someone's brand that I have designed that maybe they know or they went to school with or whatever. And they're like, oh, I really like how this looks. And one of the things that kind of helped to set me apart, especially when I first started, was my use of color and how bright the brands were. My career kind of like emerged in a time where people were believing that professional had to be tan and black and white. We couldn't express color and things out of fear of being seen as like unprofessional or too bright or childish or things of that nature, or like cheapening the brand overall. But I've been able to create some brands for some dynamic women where we've been able to marry the colors together. And it still be professional, but it have personality, and it's able to showcase their personality and passion through the branding that we're creating. Because after all, like, who's paying all that money to look like somebody else?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now, you just said the women that you design for. So is it only women that you design for?
Yeah, so I primarily design for women. And that's mainly just because of my design style. It's a little bit more feminine. I don't really do masculine design. I can, but it's just not a normal practice of mine. And so usually it's mainly women that are attracted to the type of branding and design that I do. And I tell people that like design is no different than any other art form, right? So we can see different artists and they had a particular style and like kind of flair that they did with their work, and branding can kind of be the same. Although I do have variation in the brands that I design, I have a few signature things that, like, if you know my work, you probably could pick it out. So yeah, mainly it's women that are attracted. I would work with men, but sometimes like I said, I find that their design needs more as far as like creative output and masculine than I can provide, just because again it's not a normal practice of mine. So I'm good to refer you when I know that I can't give you what you need. Listen, friend, because I'm not taking nobody money and it be a fool.
So you refer people?
Definitely, yeah. So for stuff that I don't do, or when people have different budgets that may not align with what I offer. Also too, sometimes it's just, people are just better at certain things than you are, and that's just the truth. So when people need very specific things that I can't offer, or maybe I just don't do the best, I definitely try to refer them to other colleagues. Hey, she can do that better than I can. Or she would be a better fit. And sometimes too, some people you can tell based on their personality or their style or the way that they want their business to be seen, that the branding style would be best served by someone else that has a different style of design than you do.
Is the customer always right?
No. And I say that only because we all have different sets of knowledge. We all have different experiences. And so I may have experienced something that you may not have, or you may have experienced something that I may not have. So I try not to approach branding in like a right or wrong type of mindset, or even like a this is the one you need to choose. Like, I think
so
that
you give them choices.
Yeah, I give them options based on what we discuss. Usually I only provide 1 or 2 color palettes. It depends on the brand, but usually 1 or 2 color palettes, and then I provide 3 to 5 different logos, styles for like the bases. But that's to kind of show them the different directions or the different visions based on what they said, because sometimes things can be perceived different ways based on how you describe it. But also too, I give them options based on what they're saying that they want to do. So sometimes things again may be a little bit higher level than where they are, and it's something that they can grow into versus just serving where they currently are.
So y'all heard that the customer is
Not, unfortunately,
not
always right.
always right. So what are your tips for if I'm coming to you as, okay, I want you to design my brand? What are like the top 3 things that I need to have on ready?
Yeah, so you need to have a plan for the content that's going inside of whatever's being branded, whether that be your logo, your website, or whatever. And by have the content, I mean either have the photos or have the photo shoot scheduled, have the wording for your website, know like what the pages or whatever is going to be, and kind of what you want the function of the website to do. Are people getting information? Are they booking an appointment? Are they purchasing a product? What is the sole purpose that you want to kind of occur? And then also on the content front, just being very clear again about what exactly it is that you want people to do and how you want them to feel. That's very important. The second thing that I would say is to do a competitor analysis, especially if you aren't working with a designer that's going to do one for you. In doing the competitor analysis, I think that you will see I think, and approach it as not only a brand owner, but as a consumer as well. Where are the gaps? Where can you stand out? So if I get on Sally's website and she has 75 products and 62 of them are sold out, I know that I can easily stand out versus Sally if I just have some stuff in stock. Because when people are getting on the website, they're not even able to really purchase much because most of the stuff is gone. Or if I know that I'm a hairstylist and the next best hairstylist in the city doesn't post pictures and they don't post their booking link, that can be a part of the things that I want to make sure that I drive home with my website, where I place my marketing, how I do my social strategy, things of that nature. The other thing that I would say that's super important is, like I said, just have an open mind, and kind of have some clue of what you want. So whether you know that you want it to go right or left, whether you want, you want the picture to go top or bottom, or whether you want this specific color. We all have our small like quirks and things that are super important to us. But know what you want, but leave room for strategy and leave room for an expert to be an expert, right? Because if you come to me basically with a full website plan and you already basically got the website designed, you're kind of going to stifle my creativity a little bit. It may not leave room for me to interject maybe some suggestions or to be the expert and to provide you some things that may elevate you and your business.
Y'all heard it. So 3 things plus the money.
The money.
Plus the investment. So whatever price she say, go on and cop it up.
The money.
What is next for you?
So for me, I'm currently kind of doing a little bit of rebuilding. So I'm working on some system changes and things like that to better serve my clients. One of the things that I've been talking about since last year is like what it looks like to provide quality to people versus luxury to people, and how those two things differ, and where I want to be in between those two things. So I think a lot of times quality is just quality. It's good, it's reliable, it is what it is, but sometimes luxury comes, it's a step up, right? So it's that extra mile. It's when people are expecting a little bit more of a concierge service, and they have higher expectations and desires for not only the input but the output as well, so the results of the thing and where I want to fall in that. And so I'm making some changes to my processes to better serve my clients, to fill gaps where there may be gaps, in getting the content, in expediting timelines, things of that nature. And then also really just wanted to work on more events this year. So doing more event design, elevating events, activations, conferences, expos, you name it. Really working on those things. And doing more printed things because everything's digital. It's no fun when everything's digital. I want the tangible things are just a lot more fun to experience and deal with. So Of course, digital is always going to be here. That's where we are right now. But when I can create a physical experience of some sort and help my clients to do that, I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yes. Tell the people where they can find you, book you, all the things.
Yes. So I'm on all social platforms at the THE Jordan, Jordan Ariel, Ariel. And I think that's pretty much all social platforms except TikTok. And then my website is thejordanariel.com as well. But if you type in The Jordan Ariel on Google, all the respective pages will come up.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't even get into, she comes from an entrepreneurial family.
Yes.
So her mom.
My mama got
her
57 businesses.
I got to get her mom on here. Her mom, her granddad, like she said, he has a photography business. So it's in her. So
it ain't on me.
yeah. So any last words for the people?
No. Like I said before, brown girls can get paid their worth.
Yes.
And brown girls can stand out and be ourselves and still be professional and polished.
I want you to finish the statement and then we will close out. And of course, y'all, I'll see y'all next time. But I am proof that brown girls can
create their own dreams.
There you have it. Y'all, thank you for joining me and Jordan for this episode of Brown Girls Can, the podcast. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for vibing with us on Brown Girls Can, the podcast. If you felt this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with your girl gang. You can catch us on social media on Instagram at Brown Girls Can, the podcast, and on Facebook at Brown Girls Can. And remember, you are already everything you are becoming. So until next time, keep showing up, glowing up, and choosing you. Always remember that you can do anything.